We're living in times about which God warned us. In 2 Samuel, a book in the Bible we talk a lot about here, God warns the people, please, please, just have me as your king. You can have administrators and you can have judges and you can have Levitical priests, and this is obviously before the days of Jesus, but you don't want to have a king. Please understand that. And he did this through the prophet Samuel, saying to the people, okay, if you guys get kings, they're going to steal your land, they're going to take your sons and force them into their armies, they're going to steal your crops, they're going to take your daughters, and if they choose, they're going to put them into concubines. They're going to rule over you. And yet the Jewish people at the time said, no, because everybody else has king. And in a precursor to what we see today, literally a precursor, the Lord looked around the world and said, okay, that dude over there is tall. And let's go have a tall king, because everybody wants a tall king, because tall guys they're masculine, they're good looking. So hey, go get this dude, Saul. And Saul was kind of a dunce, in all honesty. And look, Lord can use anybody. And this is to his great glory that he can use anybody towards his ends. But this guy Saul went after at one point one of his father's sheep or farm animals. I forget. I think it was a sheep or a farm animal. And he ended up walking like 3 or 4 days away. And the animal wouldn't have gone that far, and it wouldn't have been in these cities. And he's just not a super smart cat. Now, when he became king, God blessed him with some things. And God made him a good commander, a good general, a good leader. And then his sin problem ate at him. And the Lord let that happen. So it was a lesson, a precursor to a series of bad kings. But dude looked the role. And here we sit in a nation where the woman who seized power from the decrepit, mentally decrepit Joe Biden, she worked in concert with others, probably Barack Hussein Obama, definitely Nancy Pelosi, who's admitted to working with her on this. She seized power from Joe Biden, who used to look the role. He's got the white teeth and the fake teeth caps and the fake plugs in his head and the extra color on his skin, etc. But Kamala Harris, she looks the role of the modern leader. She is apparently a woman, and she has decided to emphasize her blackness. Now, remember, blackness doesn't exist, just whiteness does. But she's a woman and she's a BIPOC, and therefore looks the role. In fact, some photos have come out recently of her attempting to look more like the role. President Trump, in defense, he also looks the role. He's tall. He's a good-looking guy. He wears a suit well. He's got a commanding presence. But there is a real difference between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, many, many differences. And in the case of Trump, he has an ability to actually lead and to not be led. I'll talk about that in a second. We're going to discuss today this leadership thing, this look, It's not about what you look like. Yeah, aesthetics are nice. They are. Like when I train and I go to the gym, I admit it. I feel I look better, lighter, and maybe with a little bit more muscle, right? Just admit that. I discovered, much to my chagrin, and I hate admitting this, it makes me feel like a fool, I like myself better tan. Now, that pales in comparison to what goes on in our bodies. And I was talking to a friend of mine the other night, and he's had some health problems. He's wanting to take off weight, and he came to me privately and said, hey, will you please talk to me about this product you talk about, this Masszymes? Sure. And here we are in church, and I'm telling the brother, look, there's a lot of things that will help you take off fat. Masszymes can help you with your metabolism. It can help you maintain muscle. And when I say that, that's backed by a study. Bioptimizers went to Berkshire International University in Bosnia, and they did this side-by-side test. So you eat food without Masszymes, and you eat food with Masszymes. Here's the insane result. People who ate Masszymes, took those tablets, those pills, they ended up seeing a 1,200% increase in the amino acids in their bodies. That stuff is the building block of protein, which is the building block of muscle that can sustain muscle, and it can help you as you are going through a restrictive diet. It's key. I've taken this stuff for 2 years. So I'll tell you the same exact thing I told my friend in church. It works, or I wouldn't talk about it. You can take action on this. Go to biooptimizers.com/Todd, and you'll get 10% off a bottle of Masszymes or multiple bottles. You'll get 10% off all their products. And by the way, do this before the shipping thing hits. Don't be victim to the shipping strike. Go to biooptimizers.com/Todd. Get that done today, or you know what? The shipping thing could hit us and hurt us. So this is a photo of Kamala Harris pretending to be on a phone call. In reality, a lot of these things are staged, but they're not staged so idiotically. If you look real close, the great lady is pretending to be on the phone. This is the same set of headphones she uses when she's pretending to be on phone calls when she gets off the airplane that you pay for her to fly on. So when she gets off, she has these in so she doesn't have to talk to the press. Now, if you are eagle-eyed, you'll notice that those headphones, and they're not earbuds because they have a wire. It's not attached to her phone. Well, maybe she just got off the call. Okay, then why is she writing or pretending to write since all the papers in front of her are blank? All these things are, well, many of these things are staged. This is so obviously staged. And then there's this. Matt Weischer points this out. During the hurricanes, in 5 states, the other day I heard it's over 100 people dead, countless people homeless. Kamala Harris is at an LA fundraiser with Stevie Wonder, Keegan-Michael Key, I don't know who that is, Sterling K. Brown, I don't know who that is, Demi Lovato, no idea, Jessica Alba, heard of her, Lily Tomlin, heard of her, Alanis Morissette, Halle Bailey performing. Menu: duck egg roll, goat cheese, honey blueberry bowl, beef Wellington, lobster roll, crab cakes. Hey, you know what? I bet a lot of those crabs come from some of those areas that have been hit by the floods and the hurricanes. Meanwhile, of course, President Trump was down helping in some of those states. And let's be fair, again, right? Photo op, and he's there. And he's there. But it comes down to this. President Trump had this meeting with Zelensky, the dictator of Ukraine, who got to fly around our country on a military jet, who got flown into Pennsylvania, a swing state, who made a statement saying this fall would decide the future of the war, by which he obviously meant the election, is obviously a nod towards Kamala Harris. And having been caught at that, he apparently decided to take a meeting with President Trump in Trump Tower, behind closed doors, as no doubt the CIA and every other agency was finding a way to listen into this. Afterwards, they had a discussion. A non-leader would not have been able to say the things that President Trump said standing next to Zelensky.
Strongest of our soldiers, our people, of course, it will bring us closer to the peace. We need just peace. We need just peace. It's so important to have just peace for the people, especially for the families who lost their children. It's a big tragedy.
President Trump, have you changed your thoughts on how this war should end, what you think should be done, or do you still stand by some of the previous statements?
Well, I learned a lot, but I think I haven't changed from the standpoint that we both want to see this end, and we both want to see a fair deal made.
Okay, so let's pause for a second. She, of course, wants him to say, oh, of course, I've realized that Ukraine is the most important country in the world, that Ukraine is the most important ally to the United States has ever existed, and President Trump doesn't do that. But he does something very, very, very important. He finds a bridge. There is a bridge. Both the dictator of Ukraine and President Trump want the war to end. Of course, you would think they both do. I think Zelensky probably does. I don't think he's purely evil. He's a dictator. So is Joe Biden. So President Trump presents this bridge, and part of it is an emotional bridge. Leaders do this. They find a kernel of agreement, and then they try to build from there, and they don't give in to social pressure, like Kamala Harris will do at the drop of a dime. We need you to pretend to respect ICE agents. Okay. We need you to say that ICE agents are quite literally the KKK. Okay. President Trump does not swing that way in the breeze. Back to the video.
And it's got to be fair, and I think that'll happen at the right time. I think it's going to happen. The president wants it to end, and he wants it to end as quickly as possible. He wants a fair transaction to take place, and I think, right now I'm campaigning, so right now I don't have much to do with it.
This was so important because the left and the DOJ, the same thing, were crouching in the corner waiting to hit him with the Logan Act violation. As a non-federal official being involved in a negotiation of this level, he could be accused of that. Now, of course, we had John Kerry flying around when President Trump was president saying, don't listen to him, don't count his agreements, he's not going to be there long, right? They had that all going on. But President Trump, very, very smart to do that, to indemnify he and his team.
Other than we're doing very well in terms of the campaign, and I've been saying that I believe if I win, we're going to have a very fair and I think actually rather rapid deal. It should stop, and the president wants it to stop, and I'm sure President Putin wants it to stop, and that's a good combination. So we want to have a fair deal for everybody.
Now, again, this is President Trump thinking in terms of deal making. If there's one thing we know about that man, is he knows how to make deals. Clearly. And it's not just based upon the book, The Art of the Deal. It's based upon telling NATO, hey, other countries, you're going to start paying your fair share. No, we're not. Oh, okay, well, then we'll stop paying into NATO. Cool. Or in the Middle East, the Abraham Accords. Wait, you're not inviting the terrorists? No, because they don't want peace. No, we'll invite other Middle Eastern nations, but no, not the terrorist groups. Why would we? Back to the video.
What do you envision as fair?
Well, it's too early to say that. I have my own ideas, and I'm sure the president definitely has his own ideas, but it has to be fair.
This war shouldn't be started, and I think that the problem that Putin killed so many people, and of course we need to do everything to pressure him to stop this war, and he's on our territory. That is the most important to understand. He's on our territory, and how to stop the war, to pressure him as we can, we have to do it.
And do you think the U.S. is the best?
U.S. is the leader. U.S. is the leader of support. U.S. is the leader in the world, and of course we value the support of the United States. We're thankful to the United States, the people of America, and of course we understand that the United States can be the leader through any negotiation. We have the peace summit, and we want to organize the second one, and we count on this.
I know you're both in a rush. Last question. Will there be another meeting in the near future between you?
Could very well happen, but I think the president said it the best. This is a war that should have never happened. It should have never happened, and it wouldn't have happened. It's a shame, but this is a war that should have never happened, and we'll get it solved. It's a complicated puzzle, very complicated puzzle, but we'll get it solved, and people get on with their lives. Too many people dead. Too many beautiful cities. I've seen those cities. They're so beautiful, and they, I don't know how you can ever rebuild them the way they were. It's not possible.
You have to come, by the way, to see us.
Well, I will.
Right there. That was brilliant. I don't know President Trump. Probably you don't either. I think he means that in talking about the deaths, too many deaths. And then I think he loves buildings, bridge. And Zelensky's smart, you need to come. But President Trump didn't cave. He did not do what the Mockingbird media so desperately wanted him to do, which was to lie. The people of Ukraine, those that are in the body of Christ, we are to hurt when they hurt. We haven't communicated that enough. We are to hurt when other members of the body of Christ hurt. We can look at this in God's point of view to some degree. We can't think like God, but we can consult his word. We can be with his people. We can spend time around people more mature, spiritually mature than ourselves. Or we can just go to a simple passage in the Bible, which is Jesus wept. Why? He knew he was going to bring Lazarus back. Why did he weep? Because it was not supposed to be this way. There wasn't supposed to be death, and there wasn't supposed to be war. So Jesus wept. And President Trump continues to be used, I think, in magnificent ways by God, because God can use anybody for good ends.